Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Venus conjunct one's natal midheaven. Now, when you have transits that involve Venus, it could be about what we love, what we enjoy, value, our self-worth, self-esteem, how we feel about ourselves. And when a transit Venus conjoins one's natal midheaven, it could be about really loving, enjoying, valuing one's career, their vocation, their if it's an Aquarius as an example, it could be career in computers, electronics, innovation, uh, working with new technology, robotics, aerospace, astrology, and also um, midheaven, of course, is associated with authority figures, so we might be showing more love toward them at this point and valuing them a little bit more, not just looking at them as someone that could be domineering or overbearing, or if it's in Leo, that's might be how you see these people as an example, but it could be understanding more the value of them and how maybe they're beneficial to you to some degree, and also too really taking more stock in our stature in life and where we're at this time, and more, you're showing again more value, more love toward it, and how it may be tied in with your self-worth, your self-esteem, and how you feel about yourself. If you're at a position in life where you feel you're pretty satisfied, you're making a good amount of money, and you stack up against other people, it can be something which you really, you're enjoying that more and embracing it. But if you're not, then it could be a time where you understand it's affecting really how you feel about yourself. And also, this could be about really the enjoyment, the value, loving notoriety you may have received. Maybe you're getting some kind of accolades or recognition. And if you have, it can be a time where you might be enjoying it a little bit more so than usual. Say if it's in Gemini, it could be maybe something you're doing with writing or communications or any kind of communication field, which could be like data or satellite communications, something that involves the strong use of the hands that requires dexterity, like juggling or doing maybe auto refrigeration mechanics. It could also be at this time really about valuing attaining a position of authority. If you've been in a subordinate or subservient role for some time and you're not really happy necessarily anymore in that kind of situation, even if you were very efficient in that kind of position, this could be the time where you might put a little bit more stock in attaining more of an authority type of position, a manager role. Um, it can be also to the 10th house can be about responsibility as well. And this could be a time where you might be more enamored with taking on responsibilities more so than usual at this time. And it might be something that even if it's just doing what may be considered mundane things or menial things, it could be something that you might really maybe thrive on or really enjoy it or more enamored with more so than usual at this time. And the 10th house is also about success. And, say if this is in Taurus as an example, it can be about really the enjoyment of attaining success in a very methodical, even plotting or deliberate manner, or doing something that could be Taurus related, such as something with finance, like it could be banking, working as a stockbroker, or something that's associated with the understanding the value of things, like a pawnbroker. Uh, and also, the 10th house is also connected with the dominant parent, which is often the father. So this could be a time where you might show more love toward this person, more so than usual, and more enjoyment in terms of the time that you spend with this person as well. And it's safe, this is in Pisces as an example, it could be done with a lot of compassion that you might be expressing toward this person, and maybe you're even receiving that as well at this time. And also, uh, the midheaven is about our achievements and our accomplishments at this time. And this could be the time where you might take stock more and appreciate your accomplishments and your achievements that you have done. If you hadn't embraced this before, this could be a time where you may be actually doing so. And the 10th house is also associated with older people. So this could be a time where you may value these people more, or it could be, the enjoyment, um, maybe of their time, more so than usual, and maybe they factor in somewhat in your self-worth, your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, and whether this is something, whether it's to your benefit or more to your detriment. A lot of that could be predicated and dependent on aspects it makes to points in your chart. I mean, a sextile or trine to Jupiter, as an example, could be more auspicious, but let's say an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, well, it might go the other way, and then maybe 10th house people might be causing a little bit more sorrow and despondency, more so than usual. And I see the 10th house, well, the midheaven, as that part that you can't really suppress. I mean, the 4th house is about who we may be at the core and what we do, how we may act when no one's around. So the 10th house I see as an energy that you might not be able to suppress or hold back. And I mean, if it's in Aquarius as an example, it could be some idiosyncratic side or some unusual mannerisms, even if it's something simple like just an odd posture as an example. At this time, if you're unattached and you don't have a significant other, it might be a time where you might be more beneficial, maybe for just being more attracted to older people, or even at your place of business. I mean, if this is in Virgo, say it can be, the place of business might be something that's associated with your data entry, or some kind of analytics, or people that are statisticians, or health, maybe a healthcare place. If this is in Gemini, for example, it can be maybe an attraction, maybe either could be an older person. I mean, Gemini generally it's more about younger people, but it can be more of a superficial maybe connection if it's an older person, say if it's in Gemini, or some cases it may be a Gemini sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Gemini characteristics. Another thing too, this can also be about having maybe more of a rapport or relationship, a better one with a dominant parent and or an authority figure at this time. Going back to Aquarius, if this falls in Aquarius, it could be an Aquarius sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that embodies Aquarius-like characteristics. This may also be a time during this transit where you may be valuing your public image, your reputation at this time, and that side that may be difficult to hide or suppress. Now, if it's in the zodiac sign Cancer, it might be something connected. Could be with a more introverted side, or maybe a side that is very sympathetic, caring, nurturing, tenacious, a person that might not be afraid to hold their emotions back. It can also be a person that's about safety and security. Now, another thing too, if it's an Aries as an example, it can be a very assertive, courageous, aggressive, and enterprising nature. One that's not afraid to fight for their beliefs. I had a prominent family member that has, she has a Cancer ascendant, but her midheaven is an Aries. And even though, the basic, the outward demeanor, the ascendant, she was obviously somewhat timid, I guess you could say, and more about taking flight in a lot of situations and fight, but she did have the side, her Aries midheaven, which was hard to hold back from others. That could be confrontational, and would be would have a combative streak, I guess you could say, and stand up for what she believed in. Hold on a moment, people. Anyway, another thing too is looking at this in some isolated or remote cases. It can be a lawsuit or divorce situation that might get you a certain notoriety or affect your reputation. It could be good or bad depending on aspects. This makes to other points in your natal chart. If it's in, say, Pisces as an example, you might be involved in suing some pharmaceutical company or some chemist. Maybe there's something with chemistry you're suing, or trying to sue maybe a phony psychic as another example. Capricorn, it could be a structured settlement, but I'm really being flippant on that one. Now keep in mind, Venus could also be about art, and you might find at this time, especially if you have artistic ability or proficient in art, or it's actually part of your career anyway, or it's connected with your career somehow, is that it can be very auspicious for artistic endeavors in order to be successful. So midheaven can be about success we attain, and say if it's in the zodiac sign Cancer, it could be nostalgic art, or in Gemini it might be animated or cartoon-like art, or say going to Pisces, it can be something abstract or depicting things of a fantastical nature, or something that's connected with fiction. The sea maybe. Now another thing too is that looking at this, it can also be, Venus can be about peace and tranquility. When you have this transit conjoin your natal midheaven, it could be more having that rapport, reconciliation, perhaps with a supervisor. Things were at odds and it was a contentious situation with the supervisor or the dominant parent, which is often the father, or even older people. It can be a time where it could be very good for a peaceful settlement, basically, with them. If it's in Taurus, it might have been maybe following very peaceful negotiations, or I should say persistent negotiations. And again, Venus can be about a reconciliation, so it can be reconciling with a 10th house person, authority figure, as an example. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.